السلام عليكم brother عارف.
وعليكم السلام
Hey, mate.
ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Alhamdulillah. See if a couple of more join us. And
I can't get the photo. Do I need to press something or?
you need to on your screen there is on the bottom there is
Share screen?
not share screen. There will be a camera. Mute.
Yes.
Remove the mute.
Yes. Yeah.
Now I can't see it.
Okay.
And if the window behind you, we can't see you. Now the wall behind you, we can. So
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. We reached 62. Were you with us yesterday?
No, unfortunately, I couldn't make it. I had a couple of phone calls.
Yeah, we went through a few. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Abbas bin Amin joined us. You want to put the camera on as well, Abbas? Just carry on with the Aqeedah, inshallah. And the Aqeedah, are you muting your sound, Abbas? Now, we did say 62 yesterday, 62 that we believe that Allah created heaven and hell. And we went through this in more details yesterday. Probably we'll leave it for now. Number 63, وأن الأرزاق من قبل الله. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله. وأن الأرزاق من قبل الله. What that means, we believe, Muslims, that sustenance and rizq comes from Allah Azza wa Jal. And He gives it to His servants. Could be halal, could be haram. And arzaq from Allah Azza wa Jal, providing you seek it. So if you don't go to seek rizq, you won't be given it unless certain special circumstances, like Maryam, alayhi salatu wassalam, when she was in the mosque. كلما دخل عليها زكريا المحراب وجد عندها رزقا. Every time Zakaria come, he find that she has already got food. And he used to ask, where is this from? And she used to say, هو من عند الله. It's from Allah Azza wa Jal. But very few people will get food straight from Allah Azza wa Jal. You will need to go and seek the food and find out. So Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ. You have to work, and Allah will see you work, and then He will give you in return if you are genuine. So rizq from Allah. So obviously, providing you work for it, you put the time and effort. And also, when you put the time and effort, Allah directs you to where to get the food, or make people sell you, or make people employ you, or make people buy from you, whatever. But you have to put the effort, obviously, and that's the belief in Islam. And you could get halal, you could get haram. Why Allah allow people to get the haram if it's haram? Anyone? I'm asking.
Free will.
Sorry?
They have free will whether to choose to do haram or halal.
Yeah, this is the test. So if he wants a haram, Allah will allow him to have it. He could have said no. If he said yes, he will be punished for it if he take the haram. So Allah Azza wa Jal, if He doesn't want you to take the haram, Allah block the way. Allah block the way. Sometimes if you are really devoted Muslims and you make a mistake, try to get the haram, Allah blocks it. And then you say, oh, alhamdulillah, Allah didn't make it easy. It was haram. So Allah sometimes block the haram for somebody He loves. Like when the Prophet ﷺ was during his childhood, even he went with his friends to spend the night like in town, gathering together and things. And he sat to rest a bit and he slept. He didn't go. And he woke up the next day with the heat of the sun. So Allah stopped him going. And he was carrying stones once, everybody carrying stone and putting, to protect his shoulder, was putting part of his clothes, the things that he rubbed himself on his shoulder to protect the shoulder. And when he tried to put that on his shoulder to expose, that will expose his aura, he heard a sound, "Awratuka ya Muhammad," your aura, you can't do this, and he dropped it. So he was, even when he was child, Allah Azza wa Jal protected him from even doing the haram or joining haram. So there's few occasions like this when Allah Azza wa Jal told him, "Awratuka ya Muhammad," or he overslept. He sat to rest a bit and he overslept. His friend went and spent the night together in town, and he woke up the next morning. But it doesn't happen in general to us unless somebody really devoted to Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah might intervene. If there is haram, Allah blocks it. Then he discovers it is haram. And also we believe that Shaytan whispered to the man. How would you, with the 21st century's knowledge, accept that there is whispering from Shaytan? We have Mahmoud Sarwar joined us. You want to contribute? Mahmoud, I can't see your picture. You can unmute your picture if you want to join with a video.
Okay, I will do that. 1 second.
Anybody wants to answer? How the waswasa? What is the waswasa? You're now, you go to medical school, you learn medicine. There is nothing they teach you that is waswasa. So how would you explain it?
Would you say when you have the sometimes
the whisper of Shaitan? How would you explain the whisper of Shaitan? قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. So waswas al-khannas, the whisper, which if you say zikrullah, the shaitan will run away, the whisper will go. Yeah, carry on.
I think in the 20th century is when you have two thoughts, but I don't know whether you'll explain that as coming from Shaitan or anything else.
So how would you interpret whispering in the 21st century? Well, Muhammad Imam, I can't see the full name, joined us. So how would you explain the whispering in medicine? We still don't know where thoughts come from, how thoughts are generated. So that's a mystery for us. Just something which is we can't tell how we generate thoughts. So what happened now? We have the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, "Inna للشيطان لمة وللملك لمة." You get a good thought from the malak, and you get bad thoughts from shaitan. The person have the choice now. He gets two ideas: one to rob a bank and one to go to the mosque and pray. One will choose to go and rob a bank, and one will choose to go to the mosque. We get the two bad and good thoughts. Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. We give each one of them, each one of you, the two thoughts. So, and you choose. If you don't have any bad choices in your mind, you would always be like the angels. لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. They always do what they have been told. There's nothing called haram come to their mind, the angels. While the human, Allah allowed the good thoughts and the bad thought to come to our mind. So when we have the good thought and bad thought, then we make the choice. And that's why we have the ability to make a choice, while the angels don't have. We and the jinn, we both have the ability. So we as believers, this is number 63 we're talking about here, that we get whisper from shaitan. And you cannot, as a human, we cannot tell, as I said earlier, how thoughts generated. So thoughts come, good thought and bad thought. And the bad thought you suppress, the good thought you follow, and the mafia will suppress the good thought and take the bad thought, or the criminals. So what happened? وَيُشَكِّكُهُ, Shaitan will make you doubt things. Doubt things. That's, no, there isn't day of judgment, there isn't God, and these sorts of things. وَيُشَكِّكُهُ, make you doubt things. Now, when you are, when you get all these thoughts, obviously, the more you are educated, the more you are able to push the thoughts away, the bad thoughts. And if you have difficulty, you need to negotiate the thoughts. That's something the Prophet ﷺ said, if you get these bad thoughts, you say, Rabbi Allah, I believe in Allah, that's it. I don't want to negotiate any other alternative thoughts. In psychiatry, when we talk to people about dealing with bad thoughts, they negotiate the bad thoughts. That's, oh, there is no creator. Then you come, then where everything came from. Things do not exist by itself. You do not create yourself. The sun didn't create itself. The sun losing heat, the sun should have died by now if it exists from eternity. So you negotiate the thoughts until you push the thoughts away. So this is, we call it, we talk about thought alternatives in cognitive behavior therapy. You always find the alternative thought to the bad thought. So when Shaitan starts putting doubt in your mind, either you have the answer from the Quran or the Hadith, or you negotiate the thought, or you ask somebody else. So negotiate the thought and then get rid of the thought. The Shaitan will make you doubt things. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, الشيطان يعدكم الفقر ويأمركم بالفحشاء والله يعدكم مغفرة منه وفضلا. Shaitan will promise you, you will get poor. If you give charity, say, I will promise you, you will get poor. You will get less money. You will have to suffer. You don't have the money you need when you need it. So Shaitan يعدكم الفقر and order you to do the bad things. So Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran that وَمَنْ يَعْشُ عَنْ ذِكْرِ الرَّحْمَنِ نُقَيِّدْ لَهُ شَيْطَانًا فَهُوَ لَهُ قَرِينٌ. The person who forgets Allah Azza wa Jalla, Allah said, will send a shaitan to him and he will be with him all the time. If you make zikrullah, you remember Allah during the day, the shaitan won't be around you. So you get rid of the shaitan and you get rid of the doubts he brings to your mind. And وَيَخْبِطُهُ, we're saying here, also make you more muddled. So shaitan have the ability to bring the thoughts and the doubts to your mind. أولم تر أن نزلنا الشياطين على الكافرين تؤزهم أزا. Allah said, Allah sent shaitans to the kafirin and they naked them all the day. They make them tense, make them naked, make them unhappy, make them. And this is why many of them cannot socialize unless drink alcohol. They drink alcohol to socialize. And I've seen it many times. And if you invite them, sometimes if they love, to get to know the Muslims and things they do. Otherwise, if you invite them the first time, there's no alcohol, they will not come the second time. Like we invited a friend to a wedding, my Talha's son's wedding, and they came, this couple, he and his wife. We invited them for Abada's wedding, they didn't come. They didn't come because there's no alcohol, he can't relax. So Allah Azza wa Jalla said, نزلنا الشياطين على الكافرين تأزهم أزا. Shaitan comes specifically to the kafir and naked his life all day long. So this is what he is saying. يتخبطه. They make him naked all the time. Zikrullah, reciting the name of Allah Azza wa Jalla, reading the Quran, Salah, will push Shaitan away. You see, the Muslims who are always making zikr, they're more relaxed, they're more contented, they're more easy to talk to, easy to get by. And that's one thing many non-Muslims notice, that Muslims are more relaxed. You can relate to them, you can talk to them, you can be friends very easily. So this is alhamdulillah we have. الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس. Allah said here, those who take riba, whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims, they will not live their life but like يتخبط, he's naked. Like if shaitan trigger, poking them, the shaitan, make him, irritated and unhappy and uneasy. So this is when Allah talk about interest. If people take interest, we're not going to discuss that in details now. But riba, one of the things which will make the person more naked than the average. So this is, and also he brought another ayah, من شر الوسواس الخناس. So waswas, shaitan, could be human shaitan, or could be jinn, min al-jinnati wal-nas. So those waswas, those who bring the bad ideas to you, are either human or jinn, and you waswas who bring ideas to you. Obviously, friends could make say it or make gesture about it and make a glimpse or something. While shaitan, you wouldn't see the shaitan. But shaitan, like we said earlier, the shaitan bring bad ideas, the angel bring good ideas, and you have the choice. Allah Azza wa Jalla said in Surah Al-Isra, وَكُلَّ إِنسَانٍ أَلْزَمْنَاهُ طَائِرَهُ فِي عُنُقِهِ. Every human being, we made his decision making inside his brain. So you decide what to do, and you are in control. So there's nothing control you. Is the point clear? You want to ask me anything? Or?
So, Dr. Ghannam, so you've used jinn and shaitan interchangeably. What's the difference then? What does it say? Jinn and shaitan.
Jinn, like a human. If they choose to disobey Allah Azza wa Jal, become shaitan. If they disobey Allah Azza wa Jal, become shaitan. If they obey Allah Azza wa Jal, be good jinn. So there's good jinn who believed, and there's the bad jinn who don't believe. And the Prophet ﷺ said, everyone Allah Azza wa Jal allocated shaitan to him. And they said, even you, Ya Rasulullah? He said, yes, even me, but alhamdulillah, Allah helped me, and my shaitan became Muslim. And he would only bring good ideas to me. So each one is allocated shaitan, and the only one who wasn't touched by shaitan when he was born, who was that? Who wasn't touched by shaitan?
Adam.
Adam, tempted by shaitan, ate from the tree.
Then must be Isa.
Isa alayhi salam, yeah. Because his grandmother said to Allah Azza wa Jal, وَإِنِّي أُعِيذُهَا بِكَ وَذُرِّيَّتَهَا مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. That I asked you to protect Maryam and her children. Maryam only had one child, and Isa never had any children. So the only two people we know were not touched by shaitan is Maryam and her son. And Maryam was so devoted that we said earlier that she was getting the food for nothing. She was sitting there and the food appeared in front of her. Any more question on the point before we move away?
So they both can lead you astray, shaitan and jinn. Although you just said
jinn are the originally Allah created jinn. Some of the jinn disobeyed Allah and they're called shaitan. So there's a Muslim jinni and there is kafir jinni.
So Iblis is a shaitan.
Iblis is shaitan, yeah, the head of shaitans.
Okay.
The leader. So you have, but each one allocates shaitan, and your shaitan leaves you if you're making zikr to Allah Azza wa Jal. And the zikr will make the shaitan. We say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, he will go. فإما ينزغنك من الشيطان نزغ فقل أعوذ بالله فاستعذ بالله. If you find that it's getting bad ideas, straight away say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, the jinni will go. وإما ينزغنك, Allah said in the Quran, إما إذا غنك من الشيطان نزغ, when you are triggered or poked or irritated by bad ideas from shaitan, فاستعذ بالله, say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, the shaitan will run away. Any more questions on that? Move on.
Could you have a jinn that's a believer, but it's a weak jinn?
Believe, yes, قل أوحي إلي أنه استمع نفر من الجن فقالوا إنا سمعنا قرآنا عجبا. That Allah Azza wa Jalla told Prophet Muhammad to say that I have been told. We studied that last when we were in the Highland. That استمع نفر من الجن, they came and they listened to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was reading the Quran, and they believed in it. And they said, أنزل كتاب أنزل من بعد موسى. They were believing in Musa's book, in the Torah, and obviously including the New Testament, the Bible. So they went back to their people. They said, we heard a new book revealed after Musa, يهدي إلى البر. This book guides you to righteousness. فآمنا به, and we believed in it. So you have the jinn who believed in the Quran, and they went and the Prophet ﷺ later said he was reading Surah Al-Rahman to the jinn, and he said to the Sahaba, you don't react to the Quran as the jinn reacted. They said, how they reacted? He said, every time I read فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ, which means by which of you, the signs of your Lord you dispute, and they were saying لا نكذب بأي آية من آيات الله. لا نكذب. We don't deny, we don't reject any of the signs of Allah. Every time they hear the ayah, because in Surah Al-Rahman this ayah repeated again and again and again and again. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان يخرج منهما اللؤلؤ والمرجان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. So every time they hear it, they were saying, none, we don't reject any of the signs of Allah. So they were listening, and he was reading the Surah Al-Rahman to them, so they believed. He said here, وَنَقُولُ بأن الصالحين, some pious people, righteous people, Allah might choose them with certain signs. That's what we call karama. It's like what is a miracle performed by prophets, a similar could be performed by righteous people, and it's called karama, honor, phenomena, honoring the person. So the person, it's like, my wife telling us that they were visiting their relation. He was a very pious person, very big scholar in Syria. And they made tea, and her brother was pouring the tea to the guests. And every time a guest come, and he pour more tea to him. And then the jug of tea never finished. You need more tea put in it, because he kept pouring tea to all the people there, like 20, 30 of them, and the tea is still coming from the teapot. And while one of us, 4 cups, 5 cups, you need to make new tea because you run out of tea. So that's one thing which is, I mean, there's a lot of similar things happen on the hand of pious person. So people will be convinced that they are supported by Allah Azza wa Jal, and it's confirmation that it's a mu'jiza to the Prophet, that the Prophet didn't, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, also only show miracles himself. Allah made his Sahaba and Tabi'een and the righteous people after that perform miracles. Like if you go to Egypt and visit Sayyida Nafisa, the grave of Sayyida Nafisa, the people there will tell you the story of Sayyida Nafisa. She's one of the grandchildren of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and her husband was pressed hardly by the Umayyad Khalifa in Medina, so he left Medina and went to Egypt with his wife Nafisa. So Nafisa, radiallahu anha, she was living with her husband. They had a neighbor, a Jewish neighbor, who had disabled daughter. And they came to Sayyida Nafisa and they said to her, can you keep our daughter with you? We want to go to town and it's really hard for her. So she said, yes, fine. And the girl was sitting with Sayyida Nafisa, and Sayyida Nafisa was making wudu, and the wudu splashed on the girl. And subhanAllah, the girl just stood up and started walking, and all the disability disappeared. So when the Jewish neighbor came back to collect their daughter, fully cured, and they were so amazed that they became Muslims straight away. And 70 of the family of that Jew became Muslims. And news started spreading in Cairo for start the time. And people start coming asking her to pray for them. This is sick, has lost his money, lost his wife, whatever. And then she became overburdened with the people, so she decided with her husband to leave Egypt. And the ruler at that time, he begged her to stay. She said, I will stay, but I will have to have a weekend off. I can't go people lining up outside my house. So they agreed nobody will come to her house for 2 days in the week. And it's known at that time, Imam Shafi'i was living there. And he used to ask her to pray for him when he's sick, and Allah used to cure him. And then he sent his servant, he became sick, and his servant went and asked Sayyida Nafisa about to make dua for Imam Shafi'i. And she said to him, may Allah comfort his eyes by seeing Allah. And he went back, his servant, she said, this is what Sayyida Nafisa said. He said, oh, this means that I'm going to die. I'm not going to survive this illness. And he died after 1 week. So Sayyida Nafisa is well known, and she died. Now people go to her grave and they visit her grave, and there's a mosque there. And her reputation now lasted for 1,300 years from the time of Shafi'i until now. People in Egypt, in Cairo, remember Sayyida Nafisa. So this is karama. And what he's saying here, we accept that there are some righteous people, Allah might make things performed by them, which is similar to the miracles performed by prophets. And that's acceptable by us as Muslims, we accept that. So we have Muhammad Amran joining, and we have Amjad as well. And then number 64, I'm thinking of when we finish, inshallah, the course, I've done now 12 sessions to probably publish it, print it, and get somebody to print it and see if you can make it a book, inshallah. وقولنا في أطفال المشركين في الله تعالى يؤجرنهم في النار نارا ثم يقول لهم اقتحموها كما جاء في ذلك الرواية. أطفال المشركين. I can't explain this. I have to study it and come back about the children of the unbelievers. What will happen to them, to their destiny? So we move to 65. وندين الله عز وجل بأنه يعلم ما العباد عاملون وإلى ما هم صائرون وما كان وما يكون وما لا يكون لو كان كيف كان يكون وبطاعة الأئمة ونصيحة المسلمين. That's very, very difficult subject. Muslims have difficulty understanding it, and the atheists, they doubt it. They try to get against religions by denying Allah Azza wa Jal knowing the future. And he's saying here, we believe that Allah knows what people will be doing and where they will end and what happened and what will happen. He knows the past, he knows the future, and he knows if things happen this way, what would have happened as results. So we believe, and this is in fact the core of the belief, to believe in the unseen hidden from us and unseen in the future, and obviously the events in the past. And the whole religion, if you don't believe بالغيب, ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب. So the Quran will be a guidance to the believers who believe in the unseen. If you don't believe Allah knows the future, the whole religion become useless because there's no accountability. If you get caught in this life and punished, you're punished. If you don't get caught, you get away with it. What angered the British society, Jimmy Savile died without being punished for his multiple abuse to children. So that annoyed people. They actually abolished the death penalty in Europe and Britain and many states in America because they said if you kill the criminal, he didn't suffer. He will not suffer. He will just die. They want him to suffer in the prison for 25 years, 30 years. So they abolished the death penalty to make sure that the person is punished before he dies. While we Muslims, we know if he gets punished by death penalty, will not free him from the punishment the day of judgment. Death penalty will not, and itself could be a punishment for him that he stopped living in this life. So it is itself, it's a punishment, but there's a greater punishment in the next life. So if he doesn't go and live 25 years in prison, he will live 25 years in hell or eternal life in hell. So this is why they don't believe in the akhirah. They don't believe there's next life. They don't believe there's punishment in next life. This is why they want to do the punishment in this life. So this is the belief. Sorry?
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to actually clarify this point, which you said. Means my understanding is that if you do get punishment prescribed by Allah, then you will not be punished in the hereafter. Like if somebody has committed zina and they get stoned, then that is the kafara for them. And similarly, if somebody is killed and they get killed because of that, then that's the kafara they are paying. Obviously, they have to repent as well. I mean, they have to be repenting as well. But I mean, that is the kafara that will prevent them from having the punishment in the akhirah. Is that not the case?
Yeah, that's we as Muslims. Like the lady who was stoned at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and he said, لَقَدْ تَابَتْ تَوْبَةً لَوُزِّعَتْ عَلَى أَهْلِ الْأَرْضِ لَكَفَتْهُمْ. That her repentance is so massive and mighty, if it's divided among the mankind, would have been enough for them. But I'm talking about the kafirin, the unbelievers. They don't believe that there's next life. They believe when they die, that's the end of him. So if he's not punished in this life, he got away with it. He did all these crimes and died naturally, or died because he executed him, but there's no punishment, there's no suffering. They don't believe in the suffering next life. Obviously, when somebody is taken and the death penalty applied, and he get that, then yes, there is what you're saying, that the sin is erased and he wouldn't be punished next life. But talk about those who get away with it.
My understanding is that these Western societies, they think that it's too inhuman to kill people, and that's why they abolished the. So they think that it's actually a lesser punishment. Although I agree with you, that's probably not the case. It's probably more of a punishment to be in jail for 25 years than to be killed. But I think that's probably their understanding, is that it's inhumane.
One of them is this, being inhumane, to kill a human, whatever. But the main reason actually, and this became very highlighted when Jimmy Savile was discovered to be abusing children, and he's already dead. And the same Cyril Smith, he also one of the liberal member of parliament. Also, he was abusing children, but he's dead. So there are comments from people that he got away with it without being punished. So they want him punished before he dies. This is why they want, he must go to prison and be punished. We don't. We say that yes, he's committed this. The death penalty in Islam is like removing him from the face of the earth, because he's likely to do it again and again and again for the murderers, unless the family forgive him. If the family forgive him and accept the compensation. Ahmed, I think Ahmed Riza trying to speak, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that there's a number of reasons why death penalty was removed. So some of the valid ones you mentioned. In addition to that, what you need to bear in mind, if a person is found guilty and executed and subsequently found by inspecting further evidence he's not guilty, there's no way you can bring that person back. If you
remember that in Northern Ireland, there were a guy, he came to the funeral and everybody saw him and he took his gun and he started shooting people. And he killed quite a few. They didn't kill him. Although it was a crime done in front of everybody's eye, but they didn't kill him because this penalty is removed. Amjad trying to say something?
No, I'm okay.
Yeah, because you highlighted as so death penalty, as we're saying, there's a lot of reasons. One of them, obviously, very important, what you said, Brother Ahmed, that's because they were killing on mitigated circumstances. In Islam, it doesn't exist. It has to be seen by naked eye with people who are just and able to make the decision, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of rules. You cannot kill because of even the DNA. I don't think Islam will allow even using DNA, because there could be faults in it. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Idra'ul hududa bishubuhat." Avoid applying sentences by any doubts. If there's any doubts that might not happen, you can't apply the sentence, the death penalty or cutting the hand or any other physical harm, because it's irrevocable. You cannot bring it back to life, or you cannot bring the hand, you cut the hand and gone. And one of the Muslim scholars, is two occasions. One I witnessed myself, and one was documented. That somebody lent somebody money, and he said, if you don't pay me on so-and-so date, I will take 1 kilogram from your flesh, from your body. So when the time came and he couldn't, this guy didn't have the money to pay back, he said, that's the rule. And that spread in the city, and it became like, has to be sorted by the court. So the judge said, okay, bring the one who borrowed the money, and he gave the knife to the money lender. He said, take 1 kilogram, but if you take 100 gram or 5 gram extra, I would have to take it back from you. I have to come and cut from you extra. So he said, no. He said, I will leave it. But the one I witnessed in Saudi, if somebody pulled somebody else's eye, they take it eye for an eye. They don't encourage or take compensation, whatever. That could be stubborn sometimes, some families. And they came to a Syrian surgeon and they said to him, the court ordering you to take the eye of this criminal. And he said, yes, I will take the eye, but it's known in medicine, if you take an eye of somebody, the other eye might become emotionally, sympathetically blind. So if this guy, I take the eye from him, he becomes blind and he loses the sight of the second eye, I must have the right to go back to the victim and take his eye out. So when the victim heard that he is likely to lose the second eye, he forgave. He said, okay, I'll take the compensation. So the Prophet ﷺ hadith, with any suspicion, you must not apply the sentence. So we're likely to run out of time within 1 or 2 minutes. I'm not going to talk about number 66. No, still part of number 65. We will come back, inshallah, tomorrow. We still haven't discussed Ta'at al-Ummah. But believing in the unseen, believing in the knowledge of Allah Azza wa Jalla about the future is as important as believing in Allah. And if you go to the Quran, there's a lot of ayahs, Man amana billahi wal yawmil akhir. Believe in Allah and the hereafter. That's the minimum requested from any believer, to believe in Allah and the hereafter. And there's ayah, الذين آمنوا اليهود والنصارى والمجوس والذين أشركوا من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وعمل عملا صالحا فله أجر عند ربه. So if we believe in Allah and the hereafter, these two, so this believing in the next life, believing that Allah knows the future, knows what's going to happen, it's essential in Islam. To believe that Allah forces it or not, that rely on, if you have the choice, you make the choice. When you make the choice, Allah might allow you to do the haram, might not allow you. So if your choice is to do something haram, forbidden, Allah come back now, He is in